We are the resistance. It's us against them. And we're a lot bigger. This is the Sin City pipeline, how Clark County turned our kids into a $126 million foster care ATM. All right, here's the whole damn scam. Straight from me, blowing the fucking lid off the Sin City pipeline in Clark County, Nevada. This is the blueprint of light for the whole world to unite and make history and God proud. So I've connected every single dot using public contracts, board agendas, expenditure reports, paid public record requests, and years of digging. And what I've uncovered isn't broken bureaucracy or overworked caseworkers or just the system doing its job. It's a cold-blooded, multi-million-dollar, monolithic revenue machine dressed up as child protection. You've heard the famous line, wolves in sheep's clothing. Kids ain't cash, but that's exactly what they've become. They built a surveillance dragnet through the HOAs, our neighborhoods, our backyards. They used 911 and 311, schools, cops, and even churches, and even faith-based providers, NGOs, LLCs, like Olive Crest and Clark County and beyond, multi-state coercion, along with other entities like Casa Pacifica and Ventura County. But what they do is they'll even flag you if you put your kid into public school. Maybe somebody finds out that you have a gun hanging on your wall. Well, my grandpa, he had like 100 guns hanging on his wall. That's what you do if you're an American who likes guns. You keep your guns safe. But they got the PAGV, Biden-Harris letter to district attorneys like Steve Wolfson in Clark County, who single-handedly used that letter to dismantle our 2A. When they take your 1A, when they take your first, they're going to keep coming for your second until they can take your third and your fourth. They'll take all the kids you got. They'll take your rights. They'll take your house, your car, your job. They'll take your porn, deposit, so you can't have free speech there either. They'll threaten you in court like they did me, 2013 Ventura, that if I don't turn off my social media, that I will go to jail and lose my firstborn daughter. I have all the court papers and everything to prove everything that I've ever said. Well, maybe not everything I've ever said, but everything that I've said serious about these matters. So the surveillance dragnet just got busted by Stone 911 Wonder Grid. Motorola, Tyler Tech, Central Square, they built the computer-aided dispatch, CAD, and it turned into a Bill Clinton concern mandatory reporter. And that's why I'm working hard to make sure that AI and Tesla Optimus, CAN bus systems and other things like even our guns can never be hacked, because our forefathers dealt with this kind of tyranny and these kind of crimes against humanity, and they built a stone foundation for us. Now we need to create the cornerstone amendment, family protection freedom, because we need to protect the people from AI, government overreach, and what's happening today in the city of light. Many people call it Sin City, but I'm calling it the city of light, because there's a lot of good people here. There's more good people than bad. And this is our city. And it's about to get the audit, and it's about to get the reset, because MILFs are not for sale. God's children are not revenue streams. We're not your fucking casinos. And we sure as hell ain't your ATM or your slot machines. You need to stay away from our children. You need to stay away from our homes, our neighborhoods, our churches, our HOAs, our schools. And you need to respect what our forefathers fought for. If they can take your first, they're going to try to take your second and everything you ever had. Now, we're going to be launching Stone 911 Wonder Grid. This is the reset for everything, to save humanity, to bring us closer than we've ever been before, to achieving true world peace. When we save our children and protect our children, we save humanity. All right, we're going to take a quick look into why. Why did they do this? Well, we took a look at Watergate, Nixon, CAPTA, 1974, Jimmy Carter, Title IV expansions in 1980, Bill Clinton's 1997 catastrophe concern clause that trumped due process. We've taken a look at all the different things that they've turned into a way to make profit. Because every single kid they snatch is pure, unadulterated profit. The contract that became a monster is RFQ 604131-16. It all starts with RFQ 604131-16. The Master Foster Care Services contract issued September 2016. I stood in the ashes during 9/11, right at the World Trade Center. I went there to save people, and I stood there with dead people in my lungs. One thing that taught me is how our whole world came together as one. It didn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or what religion you were from. We were all just people. United. Well, this ground zero, we're going to be saving kids, moms, dads, pets, and the whole fucking world. All right, so back in September 2016, they launched a modest little bid, right? Now the Clark County Board of Commissioners has rubber-stamped amendment after amendment, and at least 7 major ones, bloating it into 126 million plus cash cow, with figures hitting 121,968,005.10. And it's still climbing. Annual spending pushed toward 9.5 million. The cash cow made off kids and families. District Attorney Steve Wolfson's office of over 700 people personally cleared many of these expansions. This isn't emergency funding. It's systematic growth of a pipeline that rewards. That's right, it rewards. Like, if this doesn't shake you up a little bit, you're not a real person. These are kids. These are God's children. This is not emergency funding. Like I said, it's the systematic growth of a pipeline that rewards volume and the duration of these placements instead of child protection. Now you got the Title IV-E, the federal fuel. On top of the county contract, you got Sin City, Clark County pulling $6,071,787 in Title IV-E foster care funds in just one audited year. You've heard of the NGOs. Well, we could open up an LLC, you and me, but we're not going to do that unless we're actually bringing like Eden water to people and not turning people into cash cows. Then we'll do it. But they've actually opened up LLCs, not even an NGO or like you talk about, just an LLC like Olive Crest. Olive Crest alone received $484,000 and then an extra $28 on top of that. So you're looking at $484,028 passed right through Nevada, plus hundreds of thousands in direct county vendor payments like the $390,000 in one recent quarter. Title IV-E is supposed to help kids. Here, I've shown how it's the rocket fuel for the machine. 50 to 80% federal matching that incentivizes keeping kids in a system longer. Now you got Olive Crest feasting at the trough of the swamp. Witches surrounded. Bills next door making concerns. Neighborhood concern HOA pipelines feeding the beast. So you got Olive Crest sitting right at the center. There's a bunch of other LLCs doing bidding wars for these federal funds. So it creates a perverse incentive for them to get more kids into the system so that they're the ones that get the bids. So you got Olive Crest sitting at up on the throne, and they're running the city with the city district attorney, the city attorney, everybody covering for them, as I've exposed, for the Vance Anti-Fraud Task Force and the West Coast Strike Force. You guys thought it was about Medicare and Medicaid? Well, now you know what Project Stone is all about. We are the shield wall. Who is the shield wall? The people. We are the people. This is our damn country, and we're going to save the world together. So now we're looking at Olive Crest sitting on the throne in the center, contracted for placement, preservation, residential services. They're pulling direct county cash on top of federal pass-throughs while partnering with churches to recruit more families into the ecosystem. That's a double and triple dipping in action. It's sick what they do too. You'll see a Fox News Vegas article showing them like heroes. They show a sad scene of a baby in a dumpster. Fatality. They show them doing God's work. And then when you look at the paperwork, you see the devil's plan is in the pipelines. Why do you think so many homeless people are in the pipelines under the streets? They're pulling direct county cash on top of federal pass-throughs. Now we're going to take a look at the math that should enrage every parent and every real person. Base maintenance payments, $28.21 per day, ages 0 to 12, to $31.94, 13 plus. That's $10,300 to $11,700 per child per year, just in basic room and board. With 3,000 to 3,400 kids typically in Clark County care. That's 30 to 40 million plus annually in maintenance alone. And that's before the mountain of add-ons that I've exposed. Every extra day, a child stays, more billing. So what's the real crime here? You're looking at the septuple dip. This isn't about protection. It's about a revenue generation off families. Monetizing poverty, parenting choices, First Amendment choices, Second Amendment choices, basic common sense. And it's about flipping that into making a dime off HOA complaints, the school flags, the church referrals, the 311, 911 calls. So for example, for the exact same child, they stack 7 overlapping funding streams. Title IV federal matching, 50 to 80% reimbursement. County vendor payments under RFQ 604131-16. OAG grants, 1.5 million plus annually. HUD, CDBG funds. I've documented millions from their own FOIA records. Ain't that poetic justice? Medicaid wraparounds. All right, now you're starting to see why this task force was created. Prevention IVB grants, special residential and therapeutical per diems. Anybody understand why the anti-fraud task force was created? They remove a kid, immediate revenue drop. Keep them in longer term, billing, reunify too fast, lost income. This is fraud against public trust. This is fraud against the public trust and crimes against humanity. Systematic family separation for budgeted line items. It's a designed incentive structure that turns family destruction into growth industry using your tax dollars. Well, it's a good thing you just paid your taxes. Maybe this stuff will finally come out now. Then we're talking about federal matching funds and stacked grants. Now take a look at the human cost. My voice, my fight, a decade of tears, God's tears for thousands of years. I've seen it up close right in ground zero. I've talked to the real parents. They don't just silence me, they silence all of us. They do endless surveillance. I've countless stories of people I've met in real life walking around. What they do in Clark County and beyond. Real people know the pipeline is real. That's why they tried blocking me here. Was it something I said? You've seen the glitches. I could record them all day. The pipeline is real. I've exposed it in Sin City and it stretches nationwide. And Maximus, not to be confused with Caecus Maximus. He's one of the good ones. But Maximus, who's a Caecus meaning behind Maximus, is a global contractor who took the Title IV-E ASFA pipeline global in 1997 along the sides of LLCs and NGOs like Cost Pacifica and pipelines like Olive Crest, who I've exposed today. We are the people. We're united in this great nation with God shining the light on our beautiful world. Kids aren't cash registers. We aren't their damn casinos. Anybody who took an oath is supposed to protect the people, not profit from them. I've compiled every contract amendment, expenditure PDF, board agenda, and audit and Project Stone docs. The evidence is public. The money trail is undeniable from Earth to Mars. The Sin City foster care scam will be shut down. No more amendments, no more rubber stamping, no more treating our children like ATMs. Document everything. Know your rights. Evidence before force. We are the Wonder Grid. We are Project Stone. Shield Wall. Unite. We are the people. We are demanding transparency on every Title IV-E draw and every RFQ amendment. Share this far and wide. The light is the only thing that ends the darkness. You put light on their maze and the maze sinks. Families are truly reunited. Social workers get to do their job. Police officers, EMT, firefighters, and dispatchers can finally do their jobs. Then we'll have AI, Tesla Optimus, be able to just be cool. Kids ain't cash. They're ours to protect.